Hey, what's going on, Insomniacs? Sun 518 here, and we have a pretty cool new install for Sasha, my 2017 Tacoma TRD Pro. Today from Guild Outfitters, and they outsource to another company. I forget exactly what it's called, but I have a wiring harness that will allow me to run my 400-watt inverter to the plug in the bed while in motion, aka when I'm in park. For some reason, Toyota made it such that your inverter turns off, or it drops down from 400 watts to 100 watts, and if you try to draw more than 100 watts on your inverter, it will turn it off, which is a problem when you're overlanding and trying to run all sorts of things in the bed while you're driving. So hopefully today we're gonna overcome that, and yeah, it shouldn't be too bad of an install. Let's get into it. As a safety feature from Toyota, that 400 watts drops down to 100 watts whenever the truck is taken from park to drive, which I don't, maybe because they don't want you to have things plugged into your bed while you're driving. I don't really know why that would be considered a safety feature, but as you know, I'm teching out the truck here for overlanding, so I need to have functionality of that outlet while I'm driving, so I can charge things and run power and all that sort of stuff. So Guild Outfitters makes a kit that will override that safety feature, aka it will allow for that 400 watts to be continuously outputted. So long as that button isn't on and the truck is running, it'll allow that 400 watts to be output to the bed even while you're driving. Additionally, this kit gives me an extra 120 volt outlet inside the cab of the truck, so I get to mount it wherever I want to. And in this case, I'm going to mount it, I think, on the back of my center console. Eventually I want to do a 60% seat delete, and I don't know if that's going to end up getting covered up, so I might offset it to the left or something like that, like underneath the driver's seat kind of thing, so I still have accessibility to that in the future. But yeah, so it should be pretty easy. We just got to take the center console apart, and then it's just pulling out the plug that's connected to from the wiring harness of the truck to the inverter, and then we just input our own plug that came from Guild Outfitters, and then we just got to cut a hole and put our new outlet in and wire that in, obviously. So shouldn't be too bad. Let's see what's in the kit. Actually, real quick, before we go any further, I'm gonna go ahead and start the car and I'll show you what I'm talking about. Awesome, so truck's running. If I press this button right here, you can't really see it too well, but the lights come on showing that I've got 400 watt and 100 watt power. And then if you look, I don't know how you can see that, but all of the Christmas lights that are in the bed that are currently plugged into that outlet are on. Now, watching those lights, if I go from park to anything not park, it kills it. And if we look back over here, it is indeed off. Now Toyota, oh my God, Toyota won't kill the, or won't turn off that outlet if you're drawing less than 100 watts of power. I don't know how many watts those Christmas lights are drawing, but it's got to be more than 100 because it turns off. So if you are running something less than 100 watts, you're able to do that. But things like my Anchor won't charge off of that outlet if I'm driving, which is really frustrating. Sick. So here's our kit. We've got a very interesting drill bit. Huh, never seen that before. Ooh, got a little bottle opener, if that's fun. It says Guild on it. Neat. So that, and what's funny is if you watch their video for installing this, they say they include the bottle opener so that you can crack a cold one after you do your install, which is pretty funny. Here is the 120 volt outlet. Bada bing. So that's pretty cool. So that's what's going to be going inside of the cab. And then if we pop underneath all of this stuff, we just have a wiring harness. And so these two right here are what are going to connect into that factory 400 watt inverter harness. And then we have our ground, of course, and then we have the cable that's going to run all the way up to our new outlet, wherever you want to put that. And they included enough cabling in here that you could run the outlet all the way up to the passenger side over here. But I think I want to have it in the back. So as with most car projects that involve going into the center console, step one is to remove everything from your center console. So you can see all of the bullshit that I have just kind of chilling in here. Med kits and screwdrivers and all sorts of crazy stuff. Why do I have so many cables? And if you have a little felt pad under there, go ahead and pull that out as well. And that'll give you access to this right here. So we will be pulling off this portion of the center console, which basically you just kind of get your hands, you can get a little pry tool or something along those lines right in this crack here, because it's going to separate where the seam is that you can see. And that is going to, and just like that, we are free. So now we should be able to undo these two 10mm bolts that are right here, and then this entire portion should kind of lift up and then out backwards. Now I will say there's a seam right here. That is where it's going to separate from this front trim piece and then this box, or the center console. So I should be able to just pop and slide. Hold it. And slide this out. Now, a quick point of note is that you have, that's coming out, this plug right here that you have to undo, and that's plugged into if you have an outlet on the inside of that. And then that wiring harness was just kind of duct taped onto this little clip right here that I can't really figure out how to undo. So I'll have to take that off so I can retape it when I'm done. But this is the factory inverter. Here's the ground point that we're going to end up connecting to, and the left clip right here is the wiring harness that we're going to be unplugging and plugging back into with our new wiring harness. So we're going to grab our 10mm socket again, go ahead and undo that, and then we can also undo our plug here. I grab my new wiring harness, and it's kind of hard to mess this one up. So you've got plug on one side and the other, and then this ground we can undo and we can get that added on. Do a quick test. Truck is running, inverter is on, lights are on, shifting into anything but park. Lights are still on. It works. So next step is to figure out your placement that you want to put the new plug into. And I think that putting mine about halfway up the back of the center console will be just fine, even with that 60% delete. I think I'll still have the space above the platform that gets put into the car to still access that, and if not, well, I'll just move it again, and then it'll be hidden, so it doesn't really matter. But we're gonna go ahead and do that. Now what's really neat about their kit, right, is that the bottle opener is the template that you use in order to fit your new outlet. So we're gonna go ahead and use the bottle opener. We're gonna find our placement on here. I'm gonna go pretty much centered right around here. If you look on the inside, there is your vents right here for the inverter, along with like a little louver type of thing, whatever you call it, that directs airflow. But above it, it's pretty much empty. There's nothing there. So I figured that's probably the best spot right about here to put our thing. So I'm gonna go ahead and fail a little bit higher. Remember, you do have cup holders right here, and so you don't want to go all the way up to the cup holder. So I'll go probably right about there and then centered, and that's where I'm going to make my cut. Now to do your cut, guys, you can legitimately do it any which way that you want. I'm going to use my Dremel just because that's easiest. And there you have it. It will fit in there perfectly. I'm not going to push it in all the way because I want to feed the wire up and out and clip the wire in before I go ahead and plug this into there. But as with anything, perfect time to clean for all of y'all clean freaks out there. So grab your cleaning stuff and go to town on your center console, because who knows when the next time is that you're taking it apart. Awesome, so now we can go ahead and get our plug going. So this is the other part of the kit that was included. Pretty self-explanatory. You go ahead and plug this one in there. Now, obviously I don't need this much cable. This is meant to run all the way up to the front. So now it's good and attached. In fact, to make my life a little bit easier too on this end, I'm going to grab my plug, go ahead and plug it in, make sure we are the correct direction, push it into place just like that, sweetness, and then there's our cable sticking out down through the bottom just like that. You're not really going to be able to see this part just because all the things in the way, but I'm reconnecting the cable there. And then I'm also going to be putting this plug back into place. Ooh, that was fun. Before we go any further, we got to test. I have a thing that I'll go ahead and get plugged in right there. We'll get the car started. Kick on the inverter, and there it is. Not super powerful, but it works. So now we just kind of reverse everything that we did that we haven't reversed yet. So we're going to go ahead and put these nuts, or these 10mm bolts back in place, just putting our center console back together. And then we'll go ahead and get everything put back in there, hopefully a little bit more organized than I did before. So yeah. Well, there you have it. That is the 400 watt inverter override. I forget exactly what it's called, from Guild Outfitters. It is super cool. I haven't had the chance to use it yet, obviously, but I'm really excited to be able to have the opportunity of having my outlet out in the bed, being able to be charging my Anchor and whatever else I have plugged into it while I'm driving down the road and all that sort of stuff. Maybe jumping from camp to camp, you know, out on the trails and getting a little bit of overlanding. You know, you got to be able to charge your power stations while you're driving, and this gives me the ability to do that isn't using my like cigarette lighter 12 volt outlet up in the front. But super easy to install, really quick. Probably took me about an hour and a half, just because, you know, trying to go slow and methodically, because you want to be able to cut the correct kind of shape instead of messing it up and making it look like crap. If you guys have enjoyed, please drop a like and a subscribe. If you got any questions, drop them down in the comments below. See you guys next time. Midnight sign out.